It's recording.
Cool. Hi guys, welcome to the Fall 2020 University Guide Service Information Session. My name is Sue Yun. I'm a third year that is majoring in psychology and studio art, and I'm from Manhattan, New York.
Cool. Okay, hi, I'm Ellie Bewley. I'm a second year. I'm one of your recruitment chairs. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm studying foreign affairs and hopefully global studies, security, and justice. So welcome to the information session. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect if you were to join the University Guide Service.
Okay, so who are we? Well, the University Guide Service is student run, and that means that we're a volunteer organization. So we actually don't get paid, but that also gives us the free range to basically do whatever we want with our tours. So what's super great is neither our admissions nor historical tours are pre-scripted. I mean, you get to script them yourselves, but you get to choose the stories that are interesting to you. And so we do give both types of tours, admissions and historical. Admissions would just be what you went on in high school visiting this university. And for historical, it's super interesting because the University of Virginia is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is the only university we can say that about. And so there's a lot of rich history here, and people travel from all over the world just to hear you tell the stories about our school. So we also work with we do work with the admissions office, but we're pretty much completely independent, which is great. Okay, so what do you do as a guide? Well, obviously you give tours, and so with the admissions aspect, you get to inspire prospective students. I love giving admissions tours just because I had a tough college process, and I love being able to help other students with that. But you also have that other side where you get to pass down such a rich history of UVA, and it's so great to just walk around UVA and understand the space that you exist within and know the stories behind it. And you also get to join a family. So the University Guide Service has about 150 guides, and we are a close community. It's a really great support system, and you get a lot out of it for sure.
Okay, so we are a club and we do have a job, but we also have a lot of fun. So my guides for me is probably like my best social outlet. And so these are all pictures from something we have called the Colonnade Ball. So it typically happens every fall, but I think this year it's being pushed back to the spring. It's basically semi-formal that Guides puts on, and it's usually for a charity, or it's always for a charity, but it depends on which charity. But it's just a really good time to be with all the guides and kind of get to know everyone, because that's the first time for me I was like really with all of the guides, and it was kind of insane but so fun, and it's just like a really good way to bond with fellow guides. And not to mention, we also do kind of a mix between social and academic things. So we go on field trips. Last semester, we went to the African American History Museum in DC. There was a fun day trip, and I know the people who went had so much fun. And so we incorporate kind of the social with the love of historical. And then once again, we have just a lot of fun. I have found my best friends at UVA through guides. When I was home in quarantine, the people who I wanted to come back and see were my guides' friends. So we have different intramural sports. We do like fun group activities like go to Carter's Mountain for Sunset Series, or I know it is right now 5 o'clock on a Thursday, and in 2 hours, or Tuesday, in 2 hours, I'm going with a couple guides and we're going to go socially distance eat Taco Tuesday from Asados. And we also have typically we would have get-togethers, but right now less so, but they'll come back eventually.
Okay, so for outreach, we do colonnades that Ellie previously mentioned. And another really great aspect of colonnades is that even though the University Guide Service puts it on, it's not just for guides. So I remember first year, I invited all my friends that weren't in guides, and it was a really cool opportunity to have them meet my guides friends and to just enjoy the site together. And yeah, I think it's always great that we do a lot for charities every time we have colonnades. We also have community tours. And so I actually gave a tour to my professor once first year, and it was such an amazing experience. I had a couple students from my class on it too, and he actually took us up on the floating balconies, and we were standing above the lawn, and I was able to give a tour stop there because my professor let us in. And so that was a really enriching experience where I got to make a lot of connections as well. And we also have FOAs for Greek organizations and class councils, and TIPS, which are tour improvement program or tour and sorry, what does it stand for again? Sorry, I'm blanking. Tour
I didn't
improvement.
know it was an acronym until this moment.
Okay, anyway, it's basically this is so embarrassing. I'm so sorry. This is basically an opportunity for you to learn, keep learning even after your pro semester about the university and what's going on at the university. And so these tips with different groups around grounds. So that's just an opportunity for us to collaborate with other groups.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about your Proby semester because I'm kind of fresh out of my Proby semester. So I joined last fall, so fall of my first year, which some of y'all might be doing right now, which is exciting. So Proby semester, I'm going to talk about what it typically is, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about our plans during COVID. So it's every Thursday night, 7 to 10 p.m. is like a class, but it's not like your normal lecture classes. You're with your whole Proby class, which there's typically 28 of y'all. This time there might be slightly less just based on how many people try out and the capacity of some of the rooms we need to occupy. So there might be slightly less. It's going to be anywhere between 14 and 28 new probies. So you're going to have class with all your probies, fellow probies from 7 to 10 on Thursday nights. And it's always really fun because sometimes you grab dinner before and you just get to be with these people and meet them. And like, I didn't know anyone in my Proby class coming in, and now I think I know them all so well and I love them all. So you go in, you take class. Yeah, there's a little bit of lecturing, not a lot. There's a whole lot of like speakers that come in. So we have really interesting professors that come in. And I remember a professor coming in and her telling us all about the history of eugenics at UVA. And it was just so interesting. And you just get to know all the people with you. You get to know your Proby chair. These classes aren't your typical class. And in this circumstance during quarantine, we're going to have the option of having in-person classes because we found a big enough space and we have a few enough people for it to work, but we're also going to have an online option. So if you're not comfortable coming back to UVA or going and being in a group, then you can absolutely still be a guide, still be a Proby, but you can be online. And so it's all about like training you for your admissions and historical tour, because as guides, we write our entire own tours for admissions and historical. So that's where you begin writing. You talk to guides who are above you, and they let you know, they'll talk with you, they'll run through your the stuff you start writing. And it's just generally prepping you to give tours, and that's where you learn all the material. Because I'm primarily a historical guide. I didn't know that much about the history of UVA, but that's where I learned it all. And then, so I said that class is from 7 to 10. Now there's additional training from 10 to 11 on Thursday nights. And that's the really fun part. That's the part I look forward to every single week, and that's your big guiding group. So you're assigned a few different big guides, which are guides who are in the organization already, and they kind of mentor you anytime you have questions or need someone to talk to or just anything guide related or anything personally related. My big guide is now my best friend. You go to your big guides and they help you, they watch you give your tour stops, they give you critiques, and they're just always there for you, and they really make guides accessible and approachable.
So for obligations, a lot of these were pre-COVID policies, but I'll explain how that applies. So we had to give 9 tours in the fall and 11 tours in the spring, and that's just because we tend to have higher tour populations in the spring. So right now we don't have a tour requirement, but who knows if that's up to change. this is also a pre-COVID requirement, but we added weekly office hour. And so once a week, you would go into the guide's office, which is at the bottom of Newcomb, and it's right by the Cav Daily office. And you go there and you kind of just honestly sit around, hang out with some friends, but you're also responsible for picking up the call of the phone if anybody calls the office, and also filling in spots for tours that are empty and unfulfilled. We also have monthly general body meetings that will still be intact, but will be virtual now. But that's just once a month, really not that bad. And also for paying dues, for probies, you have to pay $50 for your probie semester, and that's because there's a lot of things that go into your probie semester and materials that you need and stuff. But after probie semester, you pay $20 every semester because you don't have to be buying those same supplies. So right now we don't have the $20. You don't have to pay dues if you're already a guide, but if you are a probie, you will have to pay the $50. That being said, though, if you can't afford to pay these $50, do not let that be the reason you don't try out for guides, because that will be completely 100% subsidized, no questions asked. Like really never, ever, ever let that be the reason that you don't try out for guides, because I promise you, like it will be affordable, or you won't have to pay.
I just want to make one more note about accessibility real quick, because I realized I forgot to say this when I was talking about this. So these two things, probie semester and your additional training, those, yes, have a set time, but if you have a discussion that goes a little bit into like 7:30 or 8:30, you can still be a probie. My probie sib was late every probie class, but he still got all of his work done. He's a phenomenal guide. It's totally fine if you have a class or your work goes late or something like that. You can 100% still be a probie and a guide. Sorry, now back onto this.
Okay, so if you like what we've had to say so far, this is how you can try it out. So today, or you can sign up at any of our Zoom Q&A panels, and so that's going to be on Thursday from 6 to 7, and so that's actually going to be a diversity panel too. We're going to have guides from different backgrounds there to answer questions in case anyone from a marginalized group wants to know, like, hey, like, what's it like for you specifically to be in guides? What's your experience been like? So that's a really cool opportunity. Friday we have from 2 to 4, Saturday from 12 to 3, Sunday from 12 to 3. You can read the rest. But yes, trial tours will go from Tuesday, September 8th through September 11th. So those are the only days that you can sign up for a trial tour. And basically what you have to do for this, you should create your own historical tour. That sounds really daunting, but it's going to be a 10-minute historical trial tour. And we give you all the facts that you could ever need on our website at uvaguides.org. If you want to venture beyond that fact sheet, that's super cool too. You can use anything that you find online, but like you're not expected to use anything beyond the fact sheet. So we give you don't have to do any research if you don't want to. We're going to have an example trial tour on the website so you can see the kind of what the process would be like, and so you won't be like afraid of messing something up. And yeah, we're going to have all that, and we're also going to have tips for how you should, like, what you should be mindful of in terms of body language and other things like that also on our website. So come the day of your trial tour, you will give a 10-minute historical trial tour followed by 5 minutes of admissions questions. And so I'll explain a little bit more of that on the next slide. Yeah, so historical tour, I kind of just said that. It's 10 minutes max, 2 to 3 stops. You can pretty much use any information, just try to be historically accurate, because that is going to be a small part of the grading. And also be mindful of being in the camera in a way like kind of like this, where we can see your body gestures, whether you're standing like or sitting down. For admissions questions, you will be asked 5 minutes questions after your historical tour. And so it's going to be things like, what's it like being an out-of-state student? Do you think UVA is safe? So these aren't things you really have to study, but you should be like prepared to answer them.
Now I'm going to talk about kind of how we evaluate the tours. But my first thing, I'm just going to note this about the last thing. This is really, really important. Do not read from a piece of paper or anything. Guides will notice if you're reading. That's why we're also having you stand back from your computer or sit down far away, because you're gonna, when you're giving a tour, you don't have a piece of paper or a script. You just gotta talk. Like, and if you mess
Also,
up a
don't
little bit,
memorize a script.
yeah, don't. So now we'll talk about a little bit what you're evaluated on. So punctuality, be there on time. Like, that's honestly just like easy points you can get. You'll come into the Zoom room, it'll be totally fine. Just don't be late. It's because that's frustrating for the people giving you tours, and it's just also really important. And then your flow and cohesion and just showing your personality is super important. So that's why it's in the biggest thing. So write what you're passionate about. Don't just think, oh, this is what they want to hear, right? Come up with 3 stops that speak to you. I wrote about literature and just talked about different literature at UVA because that's what I'm really passionate about. And so if you're really passionate about something, find a way to show that in your tour. And sometimes it helps if you kind of have a theme. You don't, under no circumstance do you need a theme, but it helps kind of make a cohesive idea. And that like helped me. I'm a very organized person, like step through the process, and it was really nice for me. And then your friendly interaction with your trial tourists. So this is a little different now because we're doing it online. Usually it would be like talking between stops, but this time you're going to give all your stops, and then that section will be in your admissions questions. So they're going to be softball admissions questions. You don't have to get the exact information. It's just to show that you can have rapport with your trial tourists and that you can carry on a conversation, because crazy, that's important for being a guide. And then your mechanics and delivery, that is pretty important too, but now it's going to extend to Zoom mechanics. And so we just want to see that you're looking into the camera, clearly trying to like talk to us, that you're not like fidgeting too much. I'm a bit of a fidgeter myself, and then accuracy is not, it's important, but like you can make a few historical errors or admissions question errors and you'll be totally fine, as long as you're not saying like UVA was created in 2000. Like, it's stuff like that. They can be small errors. I messed up dates in my historical tour, and look, I'm here. So I promise you, you'll be fine.
Wait, did we skip one? What was that after? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so trial tour advice. Watch the trial tour that we are posting. It's going to be a trial tour about Monticello, but your trial tour will not be about Monticello. It'll be about UVA, but it's just to give y'all an idea without taking any ideas away. So be like, oh, they talked about it in the trial tour, I can't talk about it. So that's just why we're doing Monticello. Yeah, like I said before, choose stuff that you're passionate about. It helps. Like, just if you like something more, you'll remember it more. It's just as easy as that.
I really did history of trees once for their trial tour, and like it blew everyone away just because they were passionate about it. Sorry, continue, Ollie.
No worries. Create a thread or a theme that ties together only if you want to, but I swear it does help, and it helps you remember it too. Practice. Oh my gosh, practice. I would read it before I went to bed. Was the crazy person walking around the lawn. I would pretend to be talking on my phone, but I would just be giving my trial tour, and I'd be like, people don't think I'm fully crazy, but I was. But it's okay. And just practice. It helps so much. It gets the nerves out. You'll feel more confident, and it will also help you remember it more. And then slow down, take a deep breath, and have fun with it. I know it's pretty scary, but it shouldn't be. Your trial tourists who are giving you the tour have all been in that position, know how freaky it is, and they want you to have fun. They want to see you have fun, because that makes the whole process so much more awesome. You can tell you're trying out and you're having fun doing it.
Oh, also about why we personally decided to join guides. I was a first semester, first year. I actually just came to the info session for guides because one of my friends was going, and we were having dinner after, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll tag along. I listened to the info session, and I was like, hey, this is so interesting, but I had a different plan for what I was going to do with my semester, year, whatever, and like I didn't consider this. But I remember one of the guides standing at the front of the info session, at the end of the info session, looked at us and said that she almost didn't try out for guides, but trying out for guides was the best decision she ever made for herself at UVA. And so that really stuck with me because I was like, well, I'm on the fence for trying out for guides. Maybe if I tried out, it would be the best decision I ever made. And 2 years later, I can confidently say that it truly was. I found such a home in guides, and I truly feel like I have an understanding of this university that makes me appreciate it way more than if I hadn't had that knowledge. And so, yeah, I guess my bit of advice here is to just try out. Like, you can always cancel your trial tour. You can always like move on and just have like take away that you learned something from this universe about this university from your experience. But no matter what, just try out. You honestly have nothing to lose.
So I tried out for guides because I love history. I love talking about history. I like the moment when like someone gets something historical and it like you can see it in their eyes and it clicks. So I tried out for guides primarily to be a historical guide. I thought, oh, the social thing will be cool, but like I want to talk about history to everyone. And usually my friends, when I just ramble on about history, are like, shut up. But now because I'm a guide, that's my job, so no one can tell me to be quiet when I talk about history. So I joined, and so I joined for history reasons, but I really truly stayed for the people and the work we do. Having figuring more about UVA's history and figuring out how many underrepresented people there were here, and then I have such a privilege to be able to help talk about their stories. That makes me feel, I can't even put it into words. It's an amazing feeling, and you feel like you're doing great work. And then the people, I know it's cliche, but they're my family. I love guides. All my friends are in guides, and I absolutely adore it. I just want to make one note though. If you join guides, you can join for just being a tour guide. You don't have to completely subscribe to the social thing. There are plenty of guides that don't. And I think Suyan and I might be a little biased, but plenty of guides just give their tours, do their requirements, and get out. But I'm biased. You should do the social thing.
Okay.
So here are our trial tour signups. So you will Zoom QA. So anything we said, if you have questions about it, you will come to any of these times. Soo-Yun and I, with a couple other guides, will have new ones each in or like Q&A thing. We'll be able to talk about our experience. You can ask us anything and we'll tell you about it. And then in those same areas, you'll be able to sign up for a trial tour slot. And any other thoughts, Soo-Yun?
Nope, I think that's it. Make sure to take a screenshot of this or something, like mark it down in case you lose it.
Go to our Instagram, our Facebook, and our website. They have all the dates and informations. Our website will have the link to this, but that obviously wouldn't work, but I'm dumb. And then the like trial tour video. And yeah, that's where you can get all our information. Soo-Yun and I are so excited to see you in these Q&As. Please just try out for guides.
Just try out. You like worst that happens is you have bit of an awkward experience. You never see them again. Move on, and you learned a lot about the university. Like that's pretty sick.
Okay, thank y'all. Let's see if I can figure out how to close this without making myself look too silly.
There was another slide, I think.
Oh, I was wrong. Sorry.
Quick thing, yeah, diversity panel. Just a reminder at 6, and then the next one.
Sorry,
yeah. These are our emails. So we are the recruitment chairs. We are not part of the admissions process at all. We are literally just here to help you and answer your questions, even if it's like, what shirt should I wear? Like, I don't know, like that people have asked us that before, like, oh, like what clothes should I wear? Or just like, I'm nervous. Like, can you talk me down from canceling my trial tour? Like, we will absolutely talk you down. So just feel free to email us, reach out to us. And yeah, cool. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much. We hope to see you in the Q&A session. Sorry, I almost cut it out early. Let's see if I can stop recording.